We have here, and we're going to be talking about strengthening Malaysian family more with them. And of course, we have to bring our guests right across the ocean from Sabah and Sarawak. And from Sarawak, we have Ray Lee, who's a film director here with us in studio. And we also have, via virtual presence, we have DAPHNE IKING, I'm sure you guys know as well, who's a very popular, very well-spoken TV host and MC. Hi, DAPHNE.
DAPHNE, are you with us?
Hi.
Oh, all right.
Everyone.
All right, nice seeing you. It's unfortunate that you could not be together with us and Ray, but yeah, hopefully that you're doing well over there, wherever it is that you are. Where are you exactly?
I'm actually at home. I've got a few things lined up, but I was also in close contact with someone who was positively COVID or COVID positive. So we always, even though I did my test and everything, I always leave a little buffer.
Well, I would say thank you for being so considerate in keeping us safe as well.
Exactly. And of course, as mentioned, we have Ray in the studio. Ray, who is a film producer as well as a film director. Just a bit of a, a bit of an insight. If you guys don't know him, you guys should know him actually. He has done a lot of movies and films, and his previous movie, Belaban Hidup, has actually won 30 international film awards across 10 countries. Later, after the show, I'm going to ask whether she needs extras or not.
Do you bring some sign-up forms or anything? Actually, Ray, you know, going into all that, since we just talked about 30 awards, can you please tell us a little about all of that experience and everything?
Yeah, first of all, good morning. Thank you, RTN, for inviting me. We won the 30 awards last year, actually, and Belaban Hidup actually is a movie that portrays the Iban warrior versus the zombie.
Nice.
So we screen in 10 countries, and in our movie, we hire all the film crews from all around Malaysia, from Sabah, Sarawak, and we have Iban, Kadazan, Chinese, Malay, and Indian. Is to show the multicultural kind of movie, and we have a language with English, Malay, Iban, and Kadazan as well.
Nice, awesome. That's the true spirit of making it Malaysian, making it, you know, ours at the end of the day. And shifting to DAPHNE over there in the land of, your home, basically, DAPHNE. You know, bearing the flag of Sabah. Again, everybody knows you're from Sabah. I know you moved to Penang to continue your studies down here. I just want to ask you, what does, I mean, like, again, the tagline or the spirit that we want to bring out is Keluarga Malaysia. That has been established by our beloved Prime Minister. I just want to ask you, DAPHNE, what does the term Keluarga Malaysia actually means for you specifically?
I think it's a beautiful diversity of all these wonderful Malaysians coming together. Of course, we have our differences physically and, you know, culturally. But, you know, it's strange because you said everyone knows that I'm Sabahan. In fact, there are still some people who think I'm Sarawakian. So they say, you're from Kota Kinabalu kan? Orang Sarawak. And I'm like, wait a minute. And we are talking about Malaysians. If we're talking about foreigners and they get their, you know, their states and the cities wrong, I understand. So I'll have to always correct them politely and say, no, in Sabah, keke tu Sabah ba?
And DAPHNE, well, talking about where you're originally from, I actually want to ask Ray, becoming a film director and creating films involving, like you mentioned, a lot of elements, incorporating a lot of elements of our native culture and tradition. Is it your way of sharing, well, our story, our history, dare I say, to the world, actually, since you've won 30 awards?
Yeah.
Is it, how do you actually look into it? Like, do you see it as a way to share it?
I think, first of all, films and music unites people from all walks of life. I mean, to showcase Sabah Sarawak as a Borneo culture, normally we use film as a medium and to show to the world. And surprisingly, a lot of international audience, they don't realize that we have a Borneo side of that kind of culture. And in Sarawak, we have 28 ethnics. And our movie have showed their tradition, you know, the lifestyle in the longhouse, and then the multi-ethnic and the multicultural has amazed the world. You know, when they watch it, wow! I didn't know Malaysia have this kind of ethnic that live in Borneo. I mean, in the jungle. I mean, because my movie is portrayed in the 1940s, so I think I can become a very good ambassador to link between Borneo, Malaysia, and the world. Yeah, definitely.
Nice, well said, well said. Okay, coming back to Daphne, obviously, again, you, with your experiences being a TV host, being an MC, being a personality in whatever it is that you do, coming down from Borneo, coming down from Sabah earlier, as what Erin has actually mentioned, in the earlier parts of the show, her friends coming from Sarawak had this a bit of a culture shock when they were, they were mingling with people from the Semenanjung side, from the Peninsula. Did that happen to you, and what did you do to overcome it, or get away with it, Daphne?
When I was in Penang studying, you did your research well. I had a lot of culture shock because, you see, my cousins are Muslims and we live next door, right? My family is predominantly Roman Catholic Christians. And my grandmother, we used to rear pigs, we had dogs, chickens, with the whole shebang. Wow. And my cousins who are Muslims next door would celebrate Hari Raya, and they would have, our pigs sometimes running off, escaping to their compound, and they'll just go shoot, 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 So moving to Penang, or moving to, kalau orang Sabah bilang Malaya, okay, I was not Muslim then when I was studying in USM, but I had brought kuih bacang, kuih bacang, and it didn't have pork, but it did come from a Chinese restaurant, because my roommate actually asked me, said, "Oh, makanan apa tu?" And I said, "It's bacang. Would you like some? It's pork free." And they said, "Beli dari mana?" And I said, "Oh, it's from XYZ restaurant." "Oh, tak boleh sebab dia tak halal." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I just ate by myself lah. Went off to the library, came back, and I noticed that everything was moved from our room. And I saw them cleaning up the whole room, right? And apparently they told me they had to sum up the whole place. And I felt so bad because it wasn't pork, but because it's still derived from it was purchased from a non-halal restaurant. I felt so bad that they had to sum up the whole place. And that was a bit of a culture shock for me, because here I have living neighbors who are also my cousins who are Muslims, and sometimes our pigs or dogs run off to their compound and they just go shoo shoo. They don't, and when we celebrate Christmas, they come, we've got a table for non-pork, but they definitely share the utensils. So that was a bit of a slight culture shock in terms of culture and religion. And then just a few weeks ago, my husband actually posted some vacation videos of us, which showed me feeding a little cute baby pig in the resort. And that caused quite of a stir. So I see that there is still a mindset difference of what is wrong and what is right. Because over there, back in Sabah, we didn't have to worry so much about that issue. But yes, that's some of the things that I would like to just say that I have had and still continue to face some of these culture shocks, even though I've been living in Semenanjung for the past 20 years. And just very quickly, I know you want to move back to Ray. Oh, congratulations, Ray. You are just amazing, by the way. Very quickly, another thing that I noticed, as you mentioned emceeing, right, is the fact that sometimes kalau saya kena cakap bahasa Melayu, bahasa Malaysia in my events, I have to try so hard to pronounce it the way the Semenanjungs do. So we speak like, saya bangga jadi keluarga Malaysia. But I have to go, saya bangga menjadi seorang keluarga Malaysia. It's so much intensity of making sure that pronunciation of the is there. Yeah. So that's still a bit of a like, why can't I just speak Sabahan?
Yeah, definitely. It's a funny anecdote over there, because again, sometimes even us, living in the Peninsula of Malaysia, I have to admit that, a lot of us still do not know really about people from Sabah and Sarawak, for Daphne and for Ray as well. So it is also very much an education process, for us to really get to know more about our brothers and sisters across the South China Sea. It's not that far anyway. I mean, it's just an hour and a half by plane, and that's said, coming to you, Ray, yes, you have also earlier mentioned that you use every chance that you get to make sure that your movies are presented in a way that you want it in a Malaysian way. You have different cultures in there. You have different elements of languages, so on and so forth. How did the international audience, or how should I say in the international public, foresee that when they see your movies, oh, this is Malaysia? Is that what they thought?
When they watch my movie, they thought my movie from Kalimantan, Indonesia.
Oh,
so
okay.
I have to explain to them that Sarawak is part of Malaysia. So we come back to the concept of the Malaysian family. So I just hope more Malaysian movie will embrace this kind of multiracial culture in their movie. To be multi-language, multilingual. So my movie, actually, I just want to show to the world that Malaysia have over 80 ethnics that are living in harmony. So everybody in Malaysia are practicing a compassion heart, like trying to build a very harmonious community and build a stable and prosperity kind of living environment. Then there's a lot of questions come from the foreigners' mind. So how you guys going to interact? Because I see you guys like speaking like several languages in the public, in the private sector. I said, well, Malaysia is the only country in the world that allow us to study our mother tongue language in the national school, and none of the not many countries can achieve this kind of development. So I think the Prime Minister have initiated this Keluarga Malaysia. I think it's a very good motto because it's since already started since the first founding father Tunku Abdul Rahman, where they encourage all the races trying to mingle around and we fight for the independence, and from there we can develop our country into a prosperous country.
Nice.
Thank you. I think I get that.
Is so patriotic. Seriously, wow, so proud.
I get that when you mentioned they would probably think that it's from Indonesia, since how we're so close to each other and how we are almost pretty much alike, though the language could be a barrier.
Sure.
Actually, just switching gears quickly to Daphne as well. Daphne, correct me if I'm wrong, your parents are Kadazan Duzun. So talking about Keluarga Malaysia strengthening our Malaysian family, how do you keep your native culture or traditions alive within your family and your children, of course?
Thank you for the question. So my kids, my husband is Malay, but dia perasan dia orang Sabah. So here, I try and speak the language, Sabahan as well, the lingo. Of course, my kids are always rolling up their eyes because we normally speak English, but I do try and inject that. When they have their traditional wear, going to school, I'm always like very quick to like sumbat them in my baju kadazan, or wearing something that's very ethnic in my culture, or even in our Raya portraits. So like Isabel has a blend of Chinese blood in her, so she'll be wearing the cheongsam, and then she'll be wearing a bit of those beads, and then my son. So everyone has like a nice blend of this Melayuness, kadazan, this Cina, So I think we really just need to embrace it. So I think that is what's lacking right now, is just the awareness. And if we can keep on projecting it to not just the family, but to our Keluarga Malaysia, I think it would do us all good so that we can all live together respectfully.
And of course, everything starts from home as well, like you mentioned. It's not just within our family, but when we find out the way that it actually works, we can broaden it to spread across our Malaysian family as well. And just going back to Ray, earlier in the show, how we talked about how even Daphne experienced it as well, and she noted some of the things, and I also mentioned how my friends from Sarawak struggled a little here. Are there any aspects of your identity that you struggled in Peninsula Malaysia, and also how did you overcome it?
But I don't think so, because I'm a Chinese, can easily adapt in any way. I'm a Chinese Malaysian, so the only thing is for the Semenanjung people, Peninsula, they always have a stereotype. They always thought that the ethnic people from Sabah, Sarawak are from Indonesia. So I'm sorry to say it's kind of a little bit of insult, is it? But that's why as a filmmakers, it's my responsibility to educate and inspire, the Peninsula audience, or maybe the world audience about how the Sabahan and the Sarawak they behave. You know, they are very peace-loving kind of people. So I don't feel any problem when I'm in Peninsula, because I do believe everybody, like, to stand united as a Malaysian, we must have everybody can easily forgive in our community.
Sure.
We forgive each other, because this is the fundamental for Malaysia to reach this level. You know, we become a developed country.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's definitely something that we need to throw away, far, far away, in regards of this, separation that we have. Yes, we are separated, the island of Borneo with the Peninsula of Malaysia, with the South China Sea. But that said, at the end of the day, we are still Keluarga Malaysia. We are still one, and we need to take that to heart. Daphne, I do want to ask your opinion about something. As what had happened previously, you know, our country has gone through a very tough time, not just our country, the world, actually, you know, with the MCO happened, and with the flood cases that has been happening, and not just specifically to the Peninsula of Malaysia, but also to some cases in Sabah as well. You can see that people throw away their diversity, they throw away their differences, and wanting to help one another. That makes what Malaysia great, isn't it?
It is indeed. You know, it's sad that a tragedy puts us together, but there are also other aspects like sports and music that brings us together. I remember during the MCO, there were calls for help in Sabah, where a particular community did not have access to simple things like rice and, most importantly, milk. So the children were actually drinking condensed milk, okay, as opposed to getting at least baby formula. So what I did was I rallied a fundraiser, and it was just amazing that it was not just Sabahan friends who were very generous in, you know, pouring out whatever they could to raise funds for these kids in Sabah. And that's just the beauty of Malaysians. We are, at the end of the day, the core is that we are very charitable. I think, unfortunately, politics divide us. And if we can go beyond that, we are truly a bunch of very loving, very generous Malaysians. And I think that's what we need to sort of go back into. And, you know, sports, every time we've got something going on with our sports, our Malaysian heroes are doing so well, or maybe, you know, they've not managed to get tops when everyone's putting so much pressure on them. We all are there supporting and giving well wishes, or, you know, saying it's okay, better luck next time. So I think it's wonderful that we're all able to do that together.
Yeah. All right. We are running out of time here, actually, together with you guys. We hope that we actually wish we could actually prolong this conversation, because, again, we love Malaysia and we want to talk more about Malaysia.
So many things to talk about.
Exactly. But we do want to give our guests a chance to actually speak about, you know, what the 16th of September means to them. And we're going to give the chance to Daphne first. Daphne, last words from you about Malaysia Day coming out. What do you want to say to all Malaysians out there?
Kamu tahu, sudah hampir 6 dekade sudah kita jadi Malaysia. Saya rasa banyak lagi yang kita boleh improve. I think we need to still get together, remember the reasons why we are not just Malaysians, but to embrace humanity. But marilah kita sama-sama celebrate the fact that we are so blessed to be living in this diverse, beautiful country, wonderful resources, very minimum tragedies that happen to us, tragedies macam betul-betul ni lah malapetaka bah, okay? So let's remember and be grateful about the wonderful resources that we have and the loving people we have. Selamat Hari Malaysia to each and every one of you.
Great.
Thank you,
okay,
Daphne.
I understood that, Sabahan. I understood that.
I love that you did it in your dialect, so I'm really grateful to give you this opportunity here. And moving to Ray, any last words that you would like to tell us?
Sarawakian. Go.
Sarawakian, yeah. We really want to hear that.
Sarawakian in Bahasa, we call Nama Berita. Nama Berita. So I just say, look at the brighter side and look at the differences and the cultural diversity, and hopefully one day I would like to see like Chinese Malaysian produced Dayak movie, Malaysian produced Tamil movie, or Tamil Malaysian produced Chinese movie.
Yeah.
So this is to show to show, I think creative industry and films and music can unite people from all walks of life.
All right.
And
Selamat Hari Malaysia.
And truly nothing is impossible, right, Mio?
Correct. About everything is so correct. Selamat Hari Malaysia. Thank you so much to both of our guests. We got Rayleigh here in the studio, and we got Miss Daphne IKING out there. Thank you so much for both of you for coming on to the show. Really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great Malaysia Day on the 16th. Okay.